are live here to talk Detroit Lions here, the One Pride podcast. We're actually out of Dallas. That's why the graphics are not here, because I didn't feel like wasting my time. I wanted to talk Detroit Lions, but before we get into the latest Detroit Lions news and rumors, shout out everybody in the chat. We got Chrome in the building, Shift God, James, Janella, Taylor, Alexis, Janella, Chrome in the building. We got 9 drinks, Perryman 247, LM, as well as Scotty. Licious, man, in the building. Trevin McBride, John Brock, Adam Jones. Appreciate everybody hanging out today. Again, graphics are going to be butt cheeks. That's okay. Why is that? Because we're here to talk Lions. Appreciate everybody in here. Make sure you smash that like button. Why is that? It pushes this stream out there, and I do like pushing streams because I like that. I like having more people getting their Lions news and rumors. So appreciate everybody hanging out for sure. Let's get into the Detroit Lions latest here. Obviously, I haven't made a video about the Lions signing Tim Patrick to the practice squad. Why is that? Because I was on an airplane, and I can't do that on an airplane. Lions bring him to the practice squad. A lot of individuals wanted to get him. I was asked about that as well, being on the radio, and I said Tim Patrick does make a lot of sense for his size at 6'4". He's a bigger body, 208. This guy is the prototypical X/Y outside wide receiver. Yeah, he's on the practice squad right now. Why is that? He's got to learn this offense first, right? He's got to understand where he can be utilized throughout the NFL season. He's got to learn the plays. He's got to do all that lovely stuff. And right now, he's just fresh on the team. I'm sure at some point, if and when he is available and ready to know this offense, that they'll probably utilize him on game day. So that was a big win to me. The Lions definitely needed to get that wide receiver and bring him on this team and get this thing going in the right direction, because without that, we're in a world of hurt. What do you guys think about Tim Patrick? Do you think that was a very good signing for the Detroit Lions? If you do, right now, put why in the comment section. Do you think that this is a good one? No, if you think it's a terrible, terrible decision. I don't think there's going to be a lot of ends in there. Why is that? Because we know about our wide receiver position. We know that wide receiver 4 was required for the Lions to get a bigger body. Yeah, he's 30 years old. Yeah, he has injuries the last couple years, but he did well in preseason. Can he make this team and be a difference maker for the Lions? Can he be above Josh Reynolds was? Well, if you ask a lot of Broncos fans, if you ask those guys over there, they're going to tell you that, look, he has all the ability in the world. It's just availability. Can he stay on the field without getting injured? Is his knees good to go? And that is the biggest question. It's not what he does on the field. It's when he's on the field. And right now, 9 Drink says yes. Taylor, Alexis, Janella says yes. And Adam Jones, James Janella, oh, yes. A lot of people liked that signing, and I do as well. I think it is a good signing for the Lions. They brought in Allen Robertson, right? Another wide receiver. He was from the New York Giants, but we all know him from the Chicago Bears. I think he's a little bit old in the tooth. I think he's long in the tooth. I think he's a guy that in the crunch we can bring him up, but honestly, I don't have a whole lot of expectations for Allen Robertson, a guy that you're going to have in the practice squad just for the crunch there. And then obviously we brought back Donovan Peoples-Jones to the practice squad, not active roster. I didn't think he deserved to make the active roster, but on the practice squad, I'm perfectly fine with it. What did you notice so far about those receivers? They're the bigger guys. That's what the Lions are looking for, and that's what the Lions got. You know, we'll see how well they produce if they ever have an opportunity to be on game day, but that's what they did right there. If the Lions really feel like wide receivers that they have is not it, they could make a trade. Do I expect that to happen right now? No. I expect they're probably going to roll with Tim Patrick, and he will be the guy on game day. We got Grand Rapids, Michigan. Right now I'm in Dallas, Texas. I'm not even in the West Michigan area, as you can see. Again, I am here. No good graphics to go around. Let's go over the practice squad, because you've seen my video. I talked already about the Lions, 53-man roster, but let's get into the practice squad here. And I got to say, I'm impressed with what they did. Nate Sudfeld is not on the practice squad. He's not on the active roster, but they brought in Jake Fromm, who did really well in the final preseason game, the last 2 drives. He looked like he was the veteran out there, and he had no snaps with these receivers, linemen, running backs, any of that. but he still knew where to place the ball. He still showed that he got some arm strength, he's a young player. I love for him to be on the roster for the practice squad. So I like it, I love it, and I want some more of it. Running back Jermar Jefferson placed on the practice squad there. He showed enough to me to be on the practice squad. Lions got great depth at running back. Even on the practice squad, it continues to be really good. We talked about Tim Patrick. Tom Kennedy is on there as well. The guy is death taxes and Tom Kennedy for the practice squad. He has been on this team since the 1930s, and he's going to continue to be on this. Just like Deadpool talked to Wolverine, he said, Disney's going to keep you on here for till you're 90. They're going to do the same thing with Tom Kennedy. Shane Zylstra on the practice squad. Love having him there. I thought he would be more of the 53, but he makes the practice squad awesome. Same with James Mitchell, another player whom the Lions drafted. This was year 3. He didn't make the active roster. He goes to the practice squad for more development. Kingsley Eguakin, interior offensive line, got no problem with him. Continue to do what he does. Jamarco Jones, look, I don't think too much highly of him, but he's all right. But the big two names that I really did like is Isaac Ukwu as well as Michu Agude, pass rushers who really made an impression for the Lions, myself, and the fan base throughout OTA's minicamp and into preseason, getting those pressures, getting a couple sacks. Love what I saw there. Chris Smith, too, defensive tackle, a guy who I think deserved to make the practice squad. He did some good stuff there. Kyle Pico right now is on the practice squad. Now everyone says, he's not on the active roster. Why'd you put him on the active roster? Well, he's going to be on the active roster, and I was flying. So I'm not going to make a video while I'm flying when I know he's going to be activated before week 1. It's just them messing with the roster right now, placing people in IR, and then moving players in to the 53. Good thing there. Pat O'Connor, not a lot to talk about him. CJ Moore, the veteran who is an ace on special teams, guy who he just couldn't beat out Brandon Joseph. I'm sorry, Brandon Joseph was better at the safety position. So I look at the practice squad. I think it's really good. I'm happy with the practice squad. I'm happy how they're going to do it. And it's looking pretty good. And it's going to continue to change. So it's not like this is going to stay with 16. It's going to continue to change throughout the season. And same with the active roster. I know everybody loves 53-man roster at the moment. That's not how I really judge it. It's more of who's going to be on the 53 before week 1. And that's how I go right there. If you didn't know, you can go on YouTube and check out that Brad Holmes did an interview on the YouTube channel. Him and Ray Agnew. Must watch. I think it's about 36 minutes long. Takeaways from it. They love what they saw from Jake Fromm, and they felt like he was the guy that made more of an impression. That's why they put him on the practice squad. Hendon Hooker, they feel did enough to be QB2. And look, it's not like Hendon Hooker is going to be the odds of him coming in week 1 if the first drive of Jared Goff going injured, extremely unlikely. We know what Jared Goff is, right? He is an Iron Man. He is a guy that will battle through injuries. Heck, when he was with the Rams, he played after having surgery on his finger a week prior. So he is going to be an Iron Man. So it's not like this guy is going to go down injury. So Hendon Hooker will have time to develop if you're a little bit worried about his ability to pass. So you'll have the time. So I think it was a smart move. You know how much I liked Hendon Hooker, and compared to Sudfeld, I do. Jameson Williams, they expect him to take that next leap, that big step. We all expect it. That's why they're not too concerned about wide receiver 4/5/6, right? They believe Jameson Williams was going to take over that Josh Reynolds role. And you got Kalif Raymond at 3. And if you're worried about wide receiver 4, you got to understand how many people can be on the offense at one time. You're going to have 5 offensive line. You have a quarterback right there. That's 6. The rest is basically specialty players. You're going to have 2 tight ends, majority, right? Brock Wright is going to be the guy who blocks. You got Sam LaPorta, St. Brown, Jameson Williams. It doesn't leave a whole lot of room, right? You got to have running back too. Jahmyr Gibbs, you could put him on the outside if you want it, wide receiver, or in the slot. You obviously can have him running back. So the Lions are good when it comes to weapons. I think the more concerning is injury when it comes to that. So, right, if you have an injury to St. Brown or Jameson Williams, then everyone else has to move up. But for starters, I'm not concerned about that at all. Tim Patrick, they love the size. That's why they brought him in. They love what he can bring, but he's got to develop a little bit because he doesn't know this offense yet because he was just here. And look, if Tim Patrick can stay healthy, I think he can produce as good as a Josh Reynolds, if not better, but he's not going to be in that position because he's wide receiver 4. So I'm not too worried about that at all. They're not as well. Goff, St. Brown.
I'm so sorry to bother you. Do you lunch order Italian spaghetti and meatballs, okay, or like something like that?
Yeah, I'll do spaghetti meatballs, folks. What do you guys think for Italian food? Let me know in the comment section right now. I do love spaghetti. Meatballs is good. What is your favorite Italian? Hey, I'll take garlic bread and spaghetti. That takes it all day, right? See, we're live here, folks, and I am at Chat Sports HQ, so everything is on the fly, and that is okay. It's off the cuff. Michael Badgley injured. They're going to bring in a kicker to the practice squad to develop, but they do like Jake Bates. They like his confidence. They like what he brings to the team right now. Obviously, he's not a perfect product. Obviously, he's going to need a little bit more development, but they feel like this is going to be the guy. Eventually, they'll bring in a guy to the practice squad. Let's see your guys' thoughts about Italian food. What is your favorite? Pizza. Love pizza as well. Pizza is fantastic, but spaghetti sounds good to me if you ask me at this moment. They couldn't say enough about the Lions fan base. These guys were talking about how the Lions fan base are wild, and crazy. When you have standing-only seats only available for a preseason game purchase at Ford Field, you know it's going to be absolutely ludicrous this year. Fans are going to travel all the way to Dallas. They're going to travel all the way to all these teams. Lions fan base is the best. It is America's team, in my opinion, and I agree with their assessment. They continue to bring in undrafted rookies to make the team. And this is the ability of the scouting department, the ability of Brad Holmes and all his talent evaluators on this team is finding talent in undrafted. Even though the Lions are solid with the roster, even though they're great with their starters and they're great with backups, they still bring in undrafted guys to make the team. And it's a testament to Isaiah Williams, who looked amazing in the slot as well as kick and punt return, finding talent like him. And we know when we gave him a big contract as an undrafted rookie that he potentially could make this roster, and he did. Lauren Strickland, undrafted safety, did great things. Testament to what they're doing there. And, of course, the long snapper, Hogan Hatton, makes the roster. And, by the way, the former long snapper, they signed with the NFC North because the Lions are that good. Wide receiver Antoine Green dealt with a significant concussion, and it sucks because they felt like he was taking that next step and maybe pulling away from the other receivers. We wish him the best, but we know when it comes to concussions, and I just talked about wishing him the best, Javed Best is a prime example of how concussions can really damage somebody's career, so I wish him nothing but the best. But really good stuff from Brad Holmes and Ray Agnew. Check that out. Folks, if you got questions, I may potentially will have answers. I'm not going to bring it up on here because, again, there's no graphics, but I'm going to see it's in the comments. I got the comments up. I can read it. Put hashtag Lions. Put hashtag Brad Holmes. Put hashtag Italian food. Hashtag spaghetti. Hashtag whatever in the comments below. Someone asked here, why are you in Dallas? I am at Chat Sports HQ learning some new stuff for you guys and trying to make at least making my graphics much faster to develop, because I don't know if you know, it takes me about 2 to 4 hours to make a video. This hopefully will reduce that with the new graphics that they're teaching me. That's why I'm in Dallas. And I'll be back tomorrow night in Michigan. I'm going to try to make some videos while I'm here, post them on my channel so you guys are up to date. But I just couldn't do it yesterday. Too much driving going on. Mike, you concerned about the offensive line depth, and that's by Shift God? No, not really. Because the odds of Taylor Decker and Penei Sewell going down to one game seems unlikely. I think Dan Skipper could hold the fort down for a game. So I'm not there. What are the odds of the Lions losing multiple guards? It seems unlikely. Kyuta Wushika, I am perfectly fine with him being a guard. Say if we lose Zeitler or if we lose Graham Glasgow for the game, I'm fine that he can step in. Remember, it's not like a lot of teams right now in the NFL, if not all the teams, have depth issue at offensive line. It's hard to find linemen. And it's not like your whole offensive line is going to go down in a whole season, hopefully, right? This is not a situation, that case. So I trust those guys to back up. Giovanni Manu still developing, right? Colby Sorsdale, I do have issues with. I don't think he's developing correctly. I think Giovanni Manu eventually could jump him, and that's a good thing. If we have issues with Frank Ragnow, Graham Glasgow could play center, and then you could just move Awushika over there to that spot. So I'm not too worried about that. Again, if you want questions, put hashtag Lions, hashtag whatever. True statement is we don't need to worry about the X. I think right now we don't have to, but if there's injuries, we do have to. Good with starters, backups, more the depth. And look, I got to keep this 100 with you. When we're complaining about backup wide receiver or complaining about backup quarterback or backup edge, that just tells you this roster is darn good. It is great because a lot of teams, they got to worry about starters, not us. I watched the podcast yesterday on Locked On Lions where it had the NFC North, and the Green Bay guy says, you're not bringing it all back because wide receiver 4 is different. And everybody on the panel laughed at this guy. It thought it was a joke because you're talking about backup roles. There's teams throughout the NFC North where it's their starters they have issues. Teams in the NFL himself where their starters are the issue. If Goff goes down game, are you secure Hookers in the spotlight for one game? Yeah, I'm fine. Do you believe Hooker could win you a game or hold the fort down with this offensive line, these wide receivers? Yeah, 100%. I am 100% fine with that being the case. Is he going to lose you a game? I think he can help you win a game. That's all we're asking for, is someone to hold the fort down. But with Sudfeld or a David Blau or Tim Boyle, it's an automatic loss. So at least now you have a chance. Is it that no team wants to lose their starting quarterback, period. But do you have a chance with Hendon Hooker? I think you do have a chance, and that's all we ask for. Now, it's going to be different. Yeah, he's going to run more, right? But he's still gaining yards. He still can move the football. That's the most important thing. Mike, do you think Broderick Martin go be good? Well, he placed on injured reserve, so I don't know the extent of his injury. Now, if he comes back in 4 weeks or whatever it is, I think he can be a nice rotational piece with healthy. I think he can be. Yeah, and it sucks that he's injured. When he comes back, I think he could be a productive player who is rotational. Let's see. We have definite spots that we should be worried about as starters go down. Hutch being one major one. Yeah, but Derek, that is like that for every team, right? You lose your quarterback, you're in a world of hurt. You lose your left tackle, or in our case, our right tackle, you're going to be in a world of hurt. You lose your best edge player, you're going to be hurt. If you lose Nick Bosa for the 49ers, they're hurt, right? I mean, every team is like that. So injuries are part of it. We hope our main stars don't get injured, but make no mistake about it, every single team would be in the same position. You do not want to lose your stars, and that's just the way that it is. If Goff goes down game 1, they would stick with Hooker for sure, but trade for Cooper Rush quality in case the break the glass emergency. We'll see what happens over there with Dallas, where we're here right now. I know they like Trey Lance, even though he threw 5 interceptions last game, but Cooper Rush is a good backup. Tyler Heineke just got traded to a different team. The Lions, I think they're fine with Hendon Hooker. Could they go a different route? They could, but I'm personally okay with it because if Goff does go down, say week 4 for a game or a couple series, I'm confident that at that point, Hooker has refined his game just enough. Because we've seen week to week, Hooker was getting better. So the extent is he's going to continue to slowly get better, right? So he was learning quick. It's knowing the playbook. You should ride with Hooker until he proves he is not ready. Yeah, 100%. Cannot argue with that. Artur Hooker would very effective. One game to game plan. Yes. And I think that Hooker should be implemented on game day for a couple plays. Why not? 3rd and 1, you got Hendon Hooker under center. I'm pretty convinced that he could probably get that first out. with his legs. I'm convinced of it. It'd be a situation like Jalen Hurts, the ability to get that first down on 3rd and short or 4th and short. It's nearly automatic. Now it's going to be different because they lost their center. He retired, but we got a good center. And Hendon Hooker is a big guy, 6'3", I think near 220 pounds. I'm pretty sure he can go ahead and get that first down with his legs. And that's just another wrinkle that the Lions could do to their offense here. And that's just something I personally would like to see. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'd like to see it. We got 133 in the chat. Hit that like button. Let's get to 133 likes. Now, no all Chicago today. I am not at my house. I am in Dallas. I don't have all the widgets and cool stuff to put out there. Isaiah Williams can be a contingent quarterback as well. Yeah, well, look, if you're having Isaiah Williams as a quarterback, we're in a world of hurt. I think that happened to the Broncos a couple years ago where they had to use a wide receiver, I believe, as a quarterback, and that was a failure. You're in a bad position if that goes down. Hashtag Mike Kimber, do you think that Tim Patrick or Allen Robinson has a better chance on getting to the 53-man roster? Tim Patrick has the better chance to make the active roster. He does. He is look, he's 30 years old. It's not like this is a young guy, but he is better than Allen Robinson at this point in the career. It's not even close. It's just, can he stay healthy? That is going to be the biggest question. Tim Patrick for sure. Allen Robinson, I think, is pretty much done, right? I think he's long in the tooth. I don't have a whole lot of expectations for him. He's a practice squad guy. I think Tim Patrick right now is on the practice squad. Once he learns the playbook, he'll probably be elevated to the active roster because he can get open, because he is 6'4", because he was making plays, and he can make plays. And if you look at the quarterbacks that he had to deal with throughout his tenure in Denver, butt cheeks, more cheeks, less cheeks, butt cheeks. Okay, and now you're going from that poor team, offensive line, to top 10 quarterback, best offensive line in football. He's going to be able to get open with his routes. He's going to have the time to get open, and he could be devastating. I think he could be a better, productive Josh Reynolds if he is on the field. Williams, quarterback, Super Bowl baby. Right, Dr. Detroit in the building. What's up, Dr. Detroit, man? Appreciate you getting in here. Tim Patrick is Calvin Johnson. Light, runs same routes, bully body across the middle, leverage, just doesn't have the high point catch. He's a bigger body type of receiver. I'll never call him Calvin Johnson light, but I get what you're trying to say there. That's the type of style he is for sure. But he needs to stay healthy. Can he stay healthy? How's his knees? That's where his injuries are, right? How's his knees doing? At 30 years old, we shall see. But in the preseason, any indication, he was perfectly fine. Sup, Mike? You good, bro? Yes, I'm Mars Landing. What's up? Mars is landing in the building. I am in Dallas right now. That's why you're not seeing cool graphics. That's why you're not seeing green screen. I am live here, and it looks like I am tanned completely. It looks like I stayed in a tanner for 10 hours. That's not the case. I am white. It's just the way that the lights are looking in here. Our team is concerned about injuries. Good depth is when your backup's young. Tom Brady Hooker gives hope to the greatness, but who knows? All right there. Do you not see me? Rico Strong. Folks, I may see you, but this is not the same setup I do at my house. All my comments are on the left, and they're very small, so there's a great chance I may not see you. That's why I really need you to put a hashtag if you want me to read your comment. If you can see what I'm looking at, you totally understand. He looked very confident, comfortable in the preseason. He's a great human being, too. By the way, if he could stay healthy, he will bring a ton of fan base and locker room. Josh did not. He does. I think his hands are better. I think his route running's better. But Josh Reynolds had a connection with Jared Goff. Josh Reynolds shown what he can do. We got yet to see with Tim Patrick, but I think the ceiling's higher. I agree. But he's got to stay healthy. And we have talked about this on this channel 10,000 times. The best ability is availability. Can he stay available? If so, the Lions are in a good spot. He looked confident. Mr. Singh saw. Let's see. Patrick is a X-slot hybrid. Allen Robinson is more of a true X. Allen Robinson is more of a true should be a retired player, in my opinion. I'm not too high on Allen Robinson, but that's just me. Maybe you're different. We the same colors, bro. Lions blue and silver. Mars is landing 110%. And we're going to be live for the Lions and Rams game here in about, a week and a half, Sunday Night Football. That's why you're going to want to subscribe to the channel. Write me out. You subscribe right now, you won't miss out on the Lions Rams. I expect big-time numbers. I expect it to be an epic game. If you're new to the channel, you might as well subscribe right now. Question from Firebird Gamer, and thank you with the hashtag. It's helping out today. Do you think that the Lions will get another wide receiver? Just run with who they have in the roster or practice squad. They're going to run with who they have on the roster in the practice squad right now. Now, look, if they release a player from the practice squad, they could bring in another one, right? Practice squad's going to be fluid consistently. So if you're talking about practice squad, I could see situations throughout the whole year. That's going to be the case. It's extremely fluid. 53-man roster is fluid as well, right? So a lot of people said, well, Kyle Pico's not officially in the roster. You put it on your roster, he's going to be on the roster by week 1. It's just a fluid thing. Nothing is set in stone. As you know, Brad Holmes is consistently turning over rocks. But if you're talking about right now, they're going to go with what they got. Now, it has to be differently in the trade deadline. We get near the trade deadline. If no one's standing out, if Tim Patrick is not doing anything, if he's hurt, if Allen Robinson's Allen Robinson, if Donovan Peoples, they could do that, right? But I don't see anything happening until the trade deadline. Rico Strong says, Mike, do you think that Matt might get love this game from the Lions fans? I don't think so. I think you're going to hear Jared Goff chants. I'm going to hear boo. That's going to be the case. And his kids are going to be there, so you know Kelly Stafford is going to say that we're booing her kids because that just makes a lot of sense. Hashtag Lions should be practicing today. Hopefully, no injuries. 100% no injuries, 24/7. That hashtag is always going to be correct. Again, smash that like button. We got 141 in the chat on this noontime. Helps out. Sorry, nice guy to Josh. Not meant to be negative. No, not at all. LaPorta and Gibbs are good addition to the passing game. LaPorta, Gibbs, Sione Vaki. Sione Vaki, I think, is going to be utilized on game day as well. He's shown a lot. Could you imagine him going against linebackers with Jared Goff just sitting in the pocket? Well, boo, boo, boo. I'm going to wait for Sione Vaki to get open, and he tossed him the football gain of 15 yards. I think that is going to be the case. 100%. If Patrick is healthy, stays healthy off his set, need much younger player with some juice instead of Robinson. No, I agree with you, Brian Welsh, and that's why I was too high on Allen Robinson. But understand, practice squad's fluid. You could be changing tomorrow. Could be changing the next day. That's just the way that it works. We're booing you, Matt, not your kids. 100%. And I think it's ludicrous that people would assume that the Detroit Lions would be booing, or the Lions fan base is booing their kids. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. It really is. It's 1 + 1 = 3. It's no sense, but that's what you have when you deal with a dramatized person like Kelly Stafford. Goff will pass to anyone who is open. Ask Taylor Decker and Penei Sewell and at some point probably Dan Skipper, right? Of course. He'll pass to anyone open. That's what he does. You know, everyone talks about, is this guy a top 10 quarterback, and he doesn't have this, and he's not athletic, and he's not this, and you know what he does have? The ability to find the open receiver. You know what he does have? He's cool, calm, and collective in the pocket. He's got very good smarts, and they never talk about that when quarterback ratings. All they do is the same old BS, right? This, the athletic. Well, you got to put in things that are intangibles, right? You got to be talking about when the game's on the line. And he's pretty good at that. He's good at reading defenses, so pretty good in there. Do we know, this is by 9 drinks, do we know who's protected yet in the practice squad? Protected? Practice squad protection? I'd say a lot of these guys, right? Tim Patrick is probably going to be on there for a while. I'd have to go over the list there, but the guys that may be switched out, it could be a Donovan Peoples-Jones or an Allen Robinson. But, yeah, I think there's some protected folks in there. Just a handful. I'm not going to say a lot of them are protected, but a handful are. Mike, you better hit some good restaurants out there. I did. We had Mexican food last night. It was yummy. It was a chicken fajita. First, they gave me rice. Mitch Rentz looks at me and says, "That's all you eating?" I said, "No, dog. I had some fajitas." And then mine was the last to come in. I ate it up, and it was good. He was shocked that I'm lactose intolerant, is what it is. When will you do the first game review and prediction? Prediction video will be next week, Wednesday, Lions and Rams. It's going to do the breakdown. All my breakdown videos, Lions versus team, will be Wednesday. That's when I do it. Monday, we're going to talk about what happened previous game, right? Right now, this coming up Monday, we don't have a previous game. Tuesday, we'll do Lions rumors. Wednesday, break it down. Thursday, the One Pride podcast. Friday, Lions news. Sunday, obviously, is the whole damn day, right? You got to do the pregame, the game, post-game video. So that's how the channel works. If you've been on here for some time, you'll see a consistent pattern throughout the NFL season. You'll have videos 6 days a week, videos of streams. Streams, live streams on Thursday, and, of course, live watch parties game day, whenever that is. Which rookie do you think will turn out the best? Oof, that is a great question. And look, you could go Terry and Arnold, Ennis Rakestraw. Let's do it a little bit different here because we know how those guys are going to be. I think they're going to be awesome. They're going to be studs. I think Terry and Arnold's going to be obviously the best. But how about we just talk about Sione Vaki here a little bit? How about we talk about the guy that's going to be destroying linebackers this year? And I think Vaki is going to do a lot of damage in that slot. I cannot wait, and I hope they have formations where they have Jahmyr Gibbs in the backfield, Sione Vaki out in the slot. That would be ideal. Oh, my God. So I'm really excited to see what he can do on game day. It's not going to be as much as Terry Arnold. Terry Arnold is probably going to be out there the whole time, right? Ennis Rakestraw is going to be out there sometimes. But I think Vaki just brings a different element of offense. And you know I love my running backs. That's just a thing that I do. Not really sure if Summers is going through there. Dang. We're only out to protect 4. Vaki. Dog. Yeah. And look, it's fluid. It's the practice squad, guys. I know a lot of people make a big, gigantic deal about the practice squad. Who's the 16 on there? Don't make a big deal of it. Let's keep it 100. It's not that big of a deal. Okay? It really isn't. I think Manu is going to be a stud in year 2, and Bill Rowland, I concur with you. I think his development, because he's so physically gifted with size, body strength, the way he looks like the Hulk, and so he was raw coming into the Lions, but we're seeing growth, exponentially growth. It is amazing to see the growth of this young player, and I agree with you. In year 2, this guy could be a stud. And eventually, at some point, Taylor Decker is going to not be a Detroit Lion. Like, he's not going to do it for his entire life. Then you move Penei Sewell to left side, and I think Giovanni Manu at some point will be the right side, and then you'll have some big bookend tackles, and it's going to be utterly ridiculous. So the Lions invested in Giovanni Manu. I supported the decision. A lot of people were upset with the decision, but you can see what they're doing here. The Lions are going to be good for many years. They're not going to have top draft picks. They're not going to have a top 5 draft pick every year. So if they want to get a good tackle, that's what they did. They invested now in a project, and it eventually could be really good for them. Everybody is contacting me right now. I got like 5,000 DMs while I'm live here. So again, you want to put questions in the comment section, let me know. We got 149 in the building right now. Smash that like button. Let's continue on. Our 69 guys give me the most hope ever. Our 69 guys give us the most hope. Oh, I like that. I love how Holmes referred to our team as 69 guys, not just the 53. And that's the truth. The practice squad is part of the team. But it's fluid. You can always bring people on. You can always remove them. But they're absolutely going to be playing this year. A lot of these guys are going to be playing this year. There's going to be injuries. Okay? Say you lose Vaki for a game. You elevate Jermar Jefferson if they wanted to go that route, right? You lose St. Brown. You elevate a wide receiver. That's what's going to happen throughout the year. And expect these guys to play. Not everybody, but expect some of these guys to be playing. Lions don't have 53 roster. They have a 68-man roster. Tom Kennedy. I see hard cuts still. Too many linebackers. There's going to be cuts. And it's going to be the end of the roster. 53-man roster is not all the way throughout the NFL season. Expect it. And don't be upset. There's going to be injuries to players on the 53-man roster. They'll be placed on IR. There's going to be players coming back from IR at some point, right? Emmanuel Mosley. Then you got to remove a player from the roster. It's always fluid. That's how it works. Put 4 vets in the squad. No players are protected. If another team is willing to put their 53, we lose. Okay. Curious. What do you think of the season as the Lions finally switch long snapper Taylor from Hogan Head? Oh, this is the biggest roster decision of all time. No, it's not. Look, doesn't matter who the long snapper is. Yeah, I know what's good about Hogan, though, is he can continue to do coverage after they punt. He can do coverage from there or whatever, so that is good. But it doesn't really mean a whole lot. Remember when we drafted a long snapper and now we're getting long snappers that are undrafted or whatever? That's how much it really means. What's your confidence level in Jake Bates? I would give it kickoffs, 2%. I'm really concerned about his kickoffs, but maybe they do Jack the Goat Fox with kickoffs until he learns. When it comes to field goals from long distance, extremely confident. I think that 45 and over, I'm going to give it a 95% chance. This guy has got a boot of a leg. The smaller kicks, though, the extra points, and the 35-yard field goals, it's more of 60%. I'm not too confident about it. It's a work in progress with him. He's going to continue to get better, but all part of his game, that's kind of how I would do it. Special teams exists. People in linebackers generally make the best special teamers. And special teams are important. We found that out in the preseason because our special teams was cheeks. We needed to have better coverage. We need to have better there. And you're giving the opposing team great field position at the 40-yard line. Special teams is vital. We just got to continue to get better in those coverage units. You're right, it's 3 phases. It is not 2 phases. It is 100% 3 phases. Practice squad players only make the flat rate salary. That's why they're not protected for jumping to the 53. They can't snag by opponent week of a game, and the only other rules, really. Yeah, the other teams can snag them, right, and bring them to the active roster. And that's good. I like that idea because I want the NFL players to get paid well. I do. I think we all should. And if they were to get scooped up, yeah, it sucks for us. But at least that player is going to get paid, or vice versa. We scoop up a player on someone's practice squad, we bring him here. But the team has the right then to bring him on their own team, the own active roster. So the teams have that. What's up, Lisa Del Lorenzo? Jake Bates might be the first kicker in history with a lower kicking percentage. The closer kicks it is, it's weird. Hopefully he just continues to develop with the smaller kicks. I don't know what is the issue there. You'd have to talk to professional kickers, maybe get a Jason Hansen on LNU to talk. But, yeah, for sure, it's off. Yeah, we know Stafford and Goff, not too concerned. I'm not concerned about the Lions quarterback position. It's just not. That's why Betts did not sign with the practice squad. He'll make $400K back with BC Lions and come back around Thanksgiving if he wants. Yeah, why not, man? Look, I agree with that fully. Make that money. Do your thing. I have no problem with that. He bets on himself with the Lions. He didn't do it. Now he's going to go to the UFL and make some money. Good for him. Campbell is trot him out Fox at 70. He's going to trot the big guys out. You already know. Let's see. I think the Rams game will be close. Stafford has too many weapons. Going to be hard to stop him. I think our defensive line is much improved from what it was last year. I'm confident that they're going to get pressure, and I'm confident that the Detroit Lions secondary can actually make some plays. Unlike last game we faced in the preseason, Puka Nacua was just going off. I think he'll get his because he's a really good wide receiver. I don't think it's going to be the same as it was last year, though. I think Lions' defense is much better, and I think the Lions will still continue to score some points out there. If Betts struggles this year because of the consistent time, is that okay? Well, or if Bates struggles this year but becomes more consistent with time, is that okay? They're banking on it. Brad Holmes is banking on that. And Dan Campbell's banking on that. So as long as he improves each year, that's vital. But make no mistake about it. If we lose a game from a field goal kick, say we lose week 1, we miss a field goal kick from 35 yards, there'll be a lot of Lions fans that's going to be angry because we can't be missing these field goals to win games. It's important to win those games. So, yeah, they say we preach patience, But the moment it starts affecting us winning games that's important, that's going to stink. That's going to affect us. Their season ends in first week of November. He'd be game speedy. Long season thereby. I'd love to pop back the practice squad for bets. I'm not particularly worried about Bates. I'm not a long-term release. The faith he'll get better and more consistent over time. Plus, we all know Campbell's going for it anyways. We are going to be going for it a lot, but I am worried about kickoffs. That is something I'm worried about right now. I want to know what they're going to do there. I'm 100% worried about kickoffs right now. Like, that is an issue if they go with Bates. And that's okay to say that. If you're concerned about kickoffs, jump in with me, as am I. Glad the Rams game is at home. I feel we'd lose in LA. Not really. I think the Lions fans traveled to LA great. It's the same stadium as the Chargers. I think the Lions fans would probably be 50% at that stadium. But of course we like the games here in Detroit. We got the 12th man. Hell, we got the 13th man with as loud as it is in Ford Field. So of course you want big games at Ford Field. I'd love for San Francisco to be at Ford Field because it's such a big game and having the 13th man with it. Not usually talked about, but who do you think gets cut off the 53 besides John Commits to make room? New adds the practice squad, pull-ups. Look, they could IR a player like, I don't know, Ifutu Melfano or something. They could do that, but I'm not too worried about it right now. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll definitely see how it goes. Let's see. If you get Bates that can hit extra points in 45 yards without panic, we could have Justin Tucker. Look, if this guy can get consistent with the shorter kicks and the extra points, this could be a Justin Tucker type of situation. The guy has got a leg. He can boot it like no other. And we could be doing big-time field goals. That's something that we didn't have with Michael Badgley, the badge. But he was 100%. We knew he was good from 40 yards out. We knew you'd get the extra point. So we'll see how Bates can do. But if he get consistent on there, I think the Lions are okay. We'll see. We'll definitely see. I know a lot of people are concerned about Bates. Are you in Dallas? Yes, I am in Dallas right now. This is not a background. This is 100% background of Dallas, and I'll be back in Michigan tomorrow night. So hopefully I'm going to stay here late, make some videos for tomorrow, and probably on Saturday so you guys consistently get the content that you deserve. Yes, I am at Chat Sports HQ doing some training. We come here periodically for that. Tandem defense on all fronts. I'm really, really interested to see the Lions defense week one. I am so interested to see how well they do compared to last year, because I think the defense is significantly improved from last year. Yeah, the secondary needs time to gel. That defensive line was rocking it in preseason. And we haven't even seen Marcus Davenport yet. We haven't seen DJ Reader. Don't know if he plays, Sunday night. Levi Uzurike, significant. He's much improved. The Lions' defensive line could be a strength of this team. I cannot wait to see that. And, of course, Jack Campbell is improved. This defense could be pretty good. Ecstatic to see what they can do. If the Lions defense can get into the teens defensively, this Lions team has an absolute shot to win a Super Bowl because how good this offense is. Special teams is question, but the big two, I think, is improved. Are you hopeful and concerned about our cornerbacks, edge rushers? Extremely hopeful. Last year, concerned. This year, not. I've lost my concern with the defensive line. I was concerned coming into this year. Not too concerned. I think with the players really taking that next step, defensive line is going to be good. Linebackers are already good. And the safeties are great. We look at this corner room, Carlton Davis, Terrion Arnold, Amik Robertson, Ennis Rakestraw. Great, great, great great. The depth is awesome. Even if there's injuries, Kindle Vildor is your 5. He looked good as a 5. He's not starting like it was last year. It's the Lions. Secondary improved. I absolutely love what I'm seeing. Not too concerned about it. Arturo says, could be the best 3-4 in the NFC with Reader at the Aleem type of level. Let's see what they do. I think it's more of a 4-3 now. That's what I believe they're going to go with. Even a 5-2, whatever they want to do. Some weird. I think we're going to be more of a 4-3 this year, but there's going to be options and times they will do a 3-4 for sure because we're a universal defense. They do change it up quite a bit. My concern is the continuity of the secondary. They have barely practiced together. Yep, Ben, and it's going to be a concern all the way probably till about halfway through the season. It's going to take time to gel. That is one thing that you're correct on. It's going to take time to gel. Mike, do you think that Jake Fromm will ever make the 53-man roster or beat out Hendon Hooker for number 2? 53-man roster potentially. If there's an injury to a Hendon Hooker, an injury to a Jared Goff, and they promote it, will he ever jump Hendon Hooker? I don't see that being the case at all. No, I don't. But he can get elevated if there is an injury to one of our quarterbacks. He definitely looked good in preseason. I love what I saw from Jake Fromm. I was extremely impressed, and I'm happy he's on the practice squad. I love what they did there. They didn't put Sudfeld on there. They put Jake Fromm. Thank you, Brad Holmes, for looking at ceiling over what they have right now. Sudfeld, yeah, he knows the offense, blah, blah, blah. His ceiling is nothing. Jake Fromm, he didn't know the offense, and I think his ceiling is higher. So I'm happy he's on the practice squad. Oh, he says, I have inverted that. I'm at 4-3. Yeah, for sure. I agree with you. Vildor has a better than many last year. He just didn't catch the ball off his face mask during the NFC Championship game. A fluke play, a freak play, and then it bounced off his face mask into the arms of the receiver. It was a fluke play. Vildor is number 5. I think is perfectly fine, and I'm happy he's on the 53-man roster. I want the Lions to kick the ball to the end zone. I would like to do that too. Just kick it, and it goes to 30. If Goff goes down, Fromm would probably suit up as QB2. You believe that? I think it wouldn't. Oh, for if Jared Goff goes down and then he comes in and Hooker would be 1. Yeah, I agree with you there. Vildor's great position against Ayuk. He just had a bad bounce off his face mask. I want Ayuk to be traded to the Steelers today. And this has been the conversation at Chat Sports HQ is, will he get traded? And I hope it does because he wasn't at practice. San Francisco, if they lose Ayuk, it makes the Lions' odds of winning the NFC, getting that number 1 seed even higher. I was talking to my guy from San Francisco, and he believes that their team's going to lose week 1. You don't believe Ayuk's going to be there, at least week 1, and Trent Williams is not going to be available. So we continue to monitor those 2 players because it does have a significant effect on the Lions' ability for that number 1 seed. And I know that the Lions players and their coaching staff, they're simply looking towards week 1, but I am not a Lions player. I am going to continue to look throughout the whole season for each one and monitor what other teams are doing. 100%, I got the experience sports psychology and stuff myself, and that was a perfect rating. This is the situation where you don't bring in competition. Now, I want Ayuk to be traded anywhere as long as the Niners no longer have him. It's good for the Lions, in my opinion. Tafka, you are correct. What is your opinion about the Packers getting Malik Willis? Oh, well. Look, if the Packers lose their quarterback, if Jordan Love goes down, say for the year, the Lions won in the NFC North. Right, I do think that the Green Bay is probably the biggest threat. Chicago's a good team. I think they can get to 9 wins. But if they lose Jordan Love, they don't have a backup. Malik Willis is not going to win them games. He is just not going to do that. He hasn't developed like we'd like to see him develop, and that's why he was traded. I don't see him be in a situation where he's going to win the Packers games. Could he hold the fort down? He could, right? I believe he could hold the fort down, but is he going to go out there and win you games? I don't see that being the case. That's a big downgrade from Jordan Love to a Malik Willis. because Jordan Love really progressed last year from week 1 all the way to their final game in the preseason. I just don't see Malik Willis having the ceiling of a Jordan Love. I don't. Tafka is using the 2 styles, step by power. They'll likely bring him to kick every other kick, including the extra point. Yeah, and look, and they're going to bring a kicker on the practice squad. It's going to happen. Brad Holmes spoke about it today. So we'll see what kicker they put on the practice squad. And the Lions will have options, right, if they screw up. Green Bay had so much speed. I think that's why they revamped the secondary so much. Hey, we'll see what they can do this year. I think Goff needs a nickname. With the patience and deadline in the pocket, I'll call him the Assassin. Jared Goff, the Assassin. Hey, you call him whatever you want. But look, this guy is Xavier, or Professor Xavier from the X-Men. He uses his brain, mental capacity to get the ball where he's got to go. I like that. If you want to call him the Assassin, that's cool. Sub-Zero is Terrion Arnold. And, there's other nicknames for other teams. Really, really cool. Continue to put in comments in the comments section right now. A couple more minutes left in the live show, and then I got to get back to Wizark for sure. Goff. Biffco says, Goff sucks. Okay. That is your opinion. I completely disagree. He was called the golden arm at Cal. Let's see. Forward down the field. Charging team will not yield. Grandizer. With your honor, will keep your fame down the field. Gain a Lions victory for sure. I F and die when you said Kelly Stafford going to be booing her kid. Kelly Stafford actually believes that the fans are booing her kids because she is ludicrous and playing victim card. We bring in Brian Hoyer as a quarterback coach. We got a good quarterback coach. I'm happy with our quarterback coach. What's up, Grandizer? Yes, you can find me on X. Thank you so much, man. Put me on X, MicroMike85. If you want to get a quick Lions information, sometimes I post it on there. I've been busy really recently with a lot of training, so I'm focusing on that right now. But yeah, follow me on there, MicroMike85 stuff. Shame with Stephen Gilmore. He was single-handedly won us a game last preseason. Well, Stephen Gilmore didn't do anything this preseason except for get burnt. There was no progression. Why would you put him on the... I'm not going to put Stephen Gilmore above Vildor. Just not going to do that. I'm sorry, but he didn't. He was getting burned this preseason multiple times. Hashtag Mike, do you think that Vaki will beat out Craig Reynolds for RB3? Maybe through, halfway through the season, beyond. I think Craig Reynolds is going to be RB3 right now. But as the season goes along, it could change for sure because I think his ceiling is much higher. Only 10 likes. That's what we got. He's saying here. There's no way. We got 85 likes right now. Let's get to 100 likes. That's 15 away. And there's 200 in the building, 204 right now. Smash that like button. I can't do an ultra combo because I'm not at my house. But I can say thank you for doing so, and it does push the content out there. Was funny when Cam Sutton all picked off. Yeah, it was funny when Cam Sutton picked us off, and I'm sure he's not laughing that he got cut. Right there, so he had his 1 second of fame on the practice squad, and then he got cut. So, yeah, whatever. I'm working with the book that Goff called Urban Legend, The Defamation of Goff, and watch his rookie season again. One game, Mr. No Arm throws it 62 yards in his first game. I don't care what he did in his rookie year. Players, just because players develop, and he's clearly developed under this coaching staff. He's gotten better than he was with the Rams. He also has the backing of this coaching staff, the backing of the leadership of general manager Brad Holmes, and having that backing gave him confidence. He wasn't confident in LA. He's confident in Detroit. We built a team around him, and it worked. Did we get to, well, we're 5 likes away from a potential ultra, or me saying the word ultra combo, so smash that like button. We'll continue to do that. Hashtag fake ultra combo through the voice. Our D-line needs a nickname, too. How about Detroit Demolition Squad? Combo Breaker. Yeah, we could do that. We could do a combo breaker. I smash that like button. Folks, I appreciate everybody hanging out today. I got to get back to training. I got to get back to learning my stuff. probably eat some spaghetti and meatballs. So I appreciate everybody hanging out. I'm going to try to go ahead and get a video up for you for tomorrow. I'll work on that today, later today. Oh, but we got a $19.99 super chat from Rajo Gawardo, and $19.99 Ultra Combo. Yes, thank you so much, Roger the Goat Gawardo, $19.99. And I tell you what, I'm coming up with ideas here to maybe do some giveaways on game days, like some Lions helmets, maybe some jerseys. We're coming up with ideas for you. We're going to have that out there. Roger Gawardo, you already know you're going to be placing that mug because you're always sending super chats, and you're automatically going to be placed on there. So everybody hit that like button for my man Roger Gawardo, dropping that $19.99 super chat. Appreciate you out there, bruh. So much, man. He's just such a good subscriber, always dropping the supers, and I appreciate that. With that said, folks, I do got to get back to work. Thank you for hanging out. I'll have a video for you tomorrow.